Behind the high fences and strict discipline of the South Korean military, a shocking confession suddenly shook BTS's global fanbase. Jimin, a figure who has been known to be full of control and selective in talking about his colleagues' personal lives, finally opened his voice. And not just any statement. For the first time, Jimin indirectly revealed that Jungkook, BTS's most secretive magne, is in a deep emotional relationship with a woman. Who is he? Why did this relationship become so important that Jimin's own concerns got involved? This confession is not just ordinary news. In a Korean entertainment ecosystem that places so much importance on the privacy and clean image of idols, one whisper can become a storm. So, when Jimin, who is known to be very protective of his friends, opened the veil a little about Jungkook, the public reacted immediately. Not only the army, but also the media, pop culture analysts, and even military trainers took note of this dynamic. No name, no date, no place. Just a statement full of meaning. There was a light in his eyes when he mentioned the woman. This statement came not from the media or the results of paparazzi investigations. It emerges from the most intimate space, the conversation of friends in the silence of a military training camp. In the midst of a grueling training routine, Jungkook opened up to Jimin, and it was a moment that, according to many, became an emotional turning point in their relationship. Not because Jimin is jealous, not because there is conflict, but because Jimin, as someone who has known Jungkook for more than a decade, realizes that his best friend is facing something big and fragile: love. What makes this issue even more interesting is the fact that this relationship arises in a military context. A harsh, dry place, and without privacy, not an ideal place to cultivate feelings. But it is precisely in such places that honesty becomes inevitable. No camera, no fans. There is no stage. Only time, sweat, and sometimes wordless late-night conversations. It is at this point that love, or at least feeling, becomes real. According to an internal source, who declined to be named, Jungkook showed different behavior from the beginning of his training. It's quieter, but also more reflective. Some coaches even call it full of mind. When asked by Jimin, only then did part of the answer appear, not with details, but with emotions. He did not name names, but he mentioned taste. Jimin wrote in a private letter leaked to online forums. A sense of loss, a sense of fear, and a sense of wanting to protect. That's what makes me know he's in love. The public, of course, did not remain silent. Speculation is rampant. Starting from former dancers who have performed on BTS world tours, to non-celebrity figures who are rumored to have been close to Jungkook during his solo activities abroad. Some called him an art student from Busan. Others thought he was a childhood friend who returned to attend ahead of his departure for the military. But one thing almost all theories agree on: this woman is not a public figure. He is an ordinary person with an extraordinary role in Jungkook's personal life. The question is, why does Jim worry? As the closest friend, Jimin knows very well how much pressure an idol faces when their personal affairs become public consumption. Even more so Jungkook, who for years kept his life out of the romantic spotlight. He's not just afraid of rumors, but wants to protect something he thinks is too beautiful to share, at least for now. So when he began to tell Jimin, albeit a little, it signified an incredible level of trust. And at the same time, it set off an alarm for Jimin. Opening this story does not mean opening a secret. It's about conveying that Jungkook, the superstar, is also human. He can worry, he can fall in love, and he can need support. I think the world needs to know that he is also fighting, not just in the military, but inside himself. Jimin said in an unofficial statement quoted from an internal army community discussion. Sometimes, we're too busy taking care of her from the outside to forget that she also needs space to be herself. Fan response was divided. Many provide unconditional support. As long as she's one fan account on Weverse. But not a few also showed suspicion, even disappointment, because they felt betrayed by the openness that came too suddenly. It shows how complicated the relationship between idols and the public can be, a dynamic that constantly moves between love, demands, and boundaries. What was Jimin's real concern? Do you doubt the woman's intentions? Or is he worried about the impact of this relationship on Jungkook's life and career after his military discharge? Maybe not both. It could be that Jimin just wanted to make sure that his best friend had a safe place to love, away from the pressures that could destroy anything fragile. An industry that leaves no room for meekness. This story shows the human side of an idol. Not just about silent love, but about how much a human being, even a global star, needs to feel understood. Jimin, in his position as a best friend, became not only a witness, but also a guard. And in this deeply human role, we see something bigger than gossip, a bond that endures even amid military training and the global spotlight. Now, all eyes are on Jungkook. Will he talk? Or do you choose to remain silent and allow time to answer all your questions? What is clear is that this moment has opened a small door in the life of a star who has been known to be impenetrable. And whoever the woman is, one thing is certain. She has touched something that even popularity cannot reach: Jungkook's heart. Will this be the beginning of a love story shared with the public? Or is it just hidden, only to be whispered in letters that are never sent? The world is now waiting, with hope and, of course, millions of speculations. But now, after this news rolled like a snowball big, fast and difficult to control, the big question arose in the minds of many. Is all this real, or is it just an ingenious fabrication designed to attract public attention? We are faced with an information phenomenon that is not simple. In this digital age, the line between fact and fiction is increasingly blurred. Who can confirm the truth behind the sources of information coming from TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, even online anonymous forums? Are we witnessing a genuine love story that unfolds naturally, or is it part of a grand scenario that is composed for the sake of stirring emotions and clicks? Let's review it deeper. When a story comes out anonymous, with no concrete evidence, and relying only on leaked quotes or officially unpublished letters, how likely is it that it is real? Is this a reflection of emotional honesty, or a manipulation of information disguised as intimacy? We're not saying that Jimin can't be honest, or that Jungkook can't be in love. But we need to ask, why is this news coming now, when they are in the middle of military training, a phase that logically severely limits access to communication with the outside world? Is this a reasonable time for a leak of personal information to occur naturally? Or is it the perfect time to create a narrative that cannot be immediately confirmed or disproved? Skepticism does not mean rejecting all information, but it's about asking uncomfortable questions. Why is there not a single name or photo of the woman? How could this separate information be leaked without a strong digital footprint? Why did only Jimin seem to know, while the rest of their colleagues were silent? Is this just a game of perception spread by certain accounts to provoke interaction? Behind this news, let's not forget the highly structured context of the Korean entertainment industry. Many things have been arranged and packaged in such a way as to maintain relevance, popularity, and, of course, market expectations. Then it makes perfect sense for the public to start asking, is this part of the management strategy? Isn't the narrative of Jungkook, who fell in love secretly